Hey guys! So it was just a matter of time before the project got corrupted and I had to remake it, but before that happened, I learned some stuff. So this vid will have the before and after. One of the issues I was having was the bullet ricochets in physics calculations. So as you can see with the sparks, the bullet bounces off the walls and continues on its trajectory, acting like a real physics object bouncing all over the map. This would be great if I wanted to do a military sim game like Arma or something. For our purposes, this causes lots of a frame rate drop, especially when having big scenes with a lot of enemies, or the enemies using full auto or whatever. So in order to fix that, we have to turn off the bullet fix so the bullet will teleport to the point of impact. I think this is the case with most third-person game unless they have really optimized physics that only calculate the trajectory in air, and then they destroy the bullet on impact. I might experiment with that in the future, but it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal for this type of game. Another thing I finally figured out how to add are the sounds. So now we'll have a sound playing on the death animation.
Preview.
The next step will be to add ragdoll upon death for the lulz factor. So basically, I have been struggling with my enemy design. This is going to be a light stealth and combat game, so the enemies will break down into two camps. There will be the armed enemy types and the some more unarmed zombie-style melee enemies. If we break it down, that's typically almost every game enemy. One ranged and one melee type, and then everything is a variation on animations and attacks between those two types. So next, let's go through the level before everything got corrupted. This is my first level, so it's a bit plain and like the typical old school box levels. I don't think it was particularly interesting, but it was a good starting point. Now for the new level design, I've experimented, especially in this level with pre-made sections. So we'll have a hallway, a room type, and an L-turn that can be either left or right, a four-way intersection, and then a curved path. I'm trying to get really granular in breaking down interior spaces. Outside open world is easier, especially with all the terrain generators now. So this is our Never level, and the character has some changes here. We now have a backpack, which in the future we can use for the inventory system. We also have a light on the backpack. It's pretty dim, but it just gives enough light to maintain the spooky. So I'm still in the process of seeding this level with stuff, but this is the walkthrough of the basic level layout. I added some fog for the spooky, and I think this layout leads a lot more to the style of the underground area in Stalker. We just need anomalies now. Not sure on my design, but I'm leaning towards that destroyed abandoned Russian vibe. So these tunnels will branch off in different directions, and we'll have pickups for items and key items and probably an NPC or two. Thanks to escalating between action and then wanting to make a more horror-style environment. The tough thing about making games is, I'm making something that doesn't exist. It would be a lot easier to have a clear vision if I was making a zombie looter shooter. Which, I guess this falls into the category, and having things like survival mechanics might be worth looking into. So right now, I only have 2 enemies on the level, as I'm trying to solidify the enemy logic on the test level. Then I'll get into what I want the design and animations to be. So we're coming up on the first enemy here.
Preview.
These metro tunnel sections are a bit wonky if I want to use mesh colliders because, just like in real life, it's tough to walk easily on railroad ties and the nav mesh bakes every plane. So the solution, at least for right now, will be adding an invisible box collider over the railroad ties so the character can walk on it like a plane easily. But it will look like they're walking on the railroad but not actually walking on it. So these large rooms will likely have some bigger fights in here. But as you can see, I need to add in some box colliders to the floor so the enemies can navigate the spaces a bit easier. Now that I think about it, I can add the auto step up feature in the controller so they can step up on these surfaces easily. So yeah, that's basically the level, and this will be the exit. I might make some more branching paths, but I really need to continue working on my enemy logic and animations. Thanks for watching. See you in the next vid.